Hi everyone, welcome to week 5. After the flood of vocabulary last week, we just have one topic this week, and that is intersectionality. Intersectionality is the most important concept in gender studies. It comes from Black feminist thought, and simply put, it's an exploration of the way our multiple identities combine to create particular experiences. The materials this week, first of all, Unbreakable, the story of Malala. This is a 2020 report with Diane Sawyer. It's a little hyperbolic and kind of presented sensationally for my taste, but this is the best thing I could find on the subject, and I think the story itself is amazing, so worth watching. We're starting a new book, Sarah Farazan, If You Could Be Mine, so the first few chapters of that are due, and this is a fiction book, but it's a fiction book that's based on her understanding of the reality in the ground. It's set in Iran. She's an Iranian-American author. I really enjoyed this book. I think it's a great story. I hope you will too. And then we have a bonus. The bonus is a little unusual this week because it's a chunk of videos. It's 15 videos in total, but they're all shorter than 5 minutes, some of them as little as a minute, so it should be pretty quick to watch. And if you choose to do that and comment on it, just pick which ones are most interesting you to write your comments on after you've watched them all. This week we have the socialization of gender assignment due. The assignment info sheet's been posted since last week. We talked about it in class last week, but just to review, so it's due this Friday, 9/18, 11:59 p.m. It is worth 70 points, so it's important to get in. It's a reasonable amount of points, more than anything else we've done so far. You're going to submit a YouTube video. Specifically, you're going to submit a link to it. It goes to the Submit Assignments link on Blackboard. It's going to be 3 to 4 minutes long. And you're going to explore the socialization of gender through a specific example. So if you remember in class 2 weeks ago, we did the example with the 2 soaps, the 2 body washes from Dove, and then the 2 Ray Toys dolls. And we explored how those socialized gender give messages about gender in particular ways. That's what you're doing, except not for those products, for a choice of your own. So you're going to find an example. It can be a product like that. It can be something that someone says, a character in a film or a movie, perhaps an idea that you encountered. This should be something that you experienced in your own life growing up that made an impact on you that you noticed. So pick something that was a big deal to you, something that was interesting to you. It'll make the assignment more fun to complete. So the first thing you're going to do is just identify that thing, describe it factually. The second thing you're going to do is talk about what messages that was sent. So remember with the body washes, we talked about how the different shapes of the bottles, for example, communicated messages about how women's bodies were supposed to look, curvier, and how men's bodies were supposed to look kind of straight up and down bottle. They communicated messages about how, beauty and care was supposed to be more important to women because they were expected to buy 2 different bottles and so forth. And so you're going to do that. You're going to look at the ways that gender was socialized and how that connected to messages that are sent in society more broadly about gender and how it works. So you're identifying kind of traits or specifics of the example and how that connects to larger questions. Third, you're going to find evidence that this thing is socially constructed. For this part, you'll have to do some research. And as we talked about right back at the beginning when we talked about social construction, there's 2 different ways to identify that typically through evidence. The first one is to see it change over time, right? If it changes over time, that means it's changing due to society. And so you can find a historical example where this thing, whatever you picked, was constructed, was socialized differently. And then the second thing is if it changes across culture. So alternatively, you don't have to do both of these, pick one of them. You can find an example from a different culture where this same thing is socialized differently, where this message is sent in a different way. And if you can, explore here, look at why that's different, what the differences are in the cultures or what's changed over time that led to that difference in social construction. Any sources you use here, you should cite in text in your forum, in your post, along with the submission, so in the text box. And then finally, how did you exercise agency related to this thing? So as we talked about, socialization, we don't have any control over it. It comes from society. It's a force much bigger than us. But what we do have control over is how we respond to it. So maybe this idea of socialization of gender that you encountered is something that felt like a good fit for you, that felt like it matched your understanding of your own gender and how you express that, and so it's something that you embraced and enjoyed. Maybe it's something that you found was very different from your idea of gender, that you rejected, that you objected to, that you went against, that you rebelled against. Maybe it was something that was somewhere in between, that you had a complex relationship with. So what I want you to think about here for the final point is how you felt about, how you responded to this example of socialization, and what you did as a result of that, what choices you made given this message that you were sent. Again, for more detail, look at the assignment info sheet. That also has the rubric for how it's graded. So work due this week. So Friday we got the lecture response to the lecture on intersectionality. There's a couple of videos there. Then also due this Friday we have the socialization of gender video. Again, make sure you get that in. It's worth a significant number of points. If you do have trouble getting in on time, please check the policy for extensions. If you email me 24 hours beforehand with an alternative date, I can do extensions potentially. And then also, if you do turn it in, a day or two late, it loses 10% a day, which is, not the end of the world. So if you're turning in on Saturday, that's still 90% of the points. Very important to get it in. Not doing these videos will have a serious negative effect on your grade in the class. And then due on Sunday, we have those 2 material responses plus the bonus if you choose. And finally, Monday the 21st, we have the quiz. Thank you.